Hello folks, welcome to Unicorn Light Tarot. Thank you so much for joining us today. Special shout out for everybody, all the new subscribers. You've been amazing, and all the great comments and amazing comments that you guys have left. I really totally appreciate it. And again, if anybody has any suggestions for future readings, I am all about it. So go ahead, feel free, and leave those in the comments. So I just want to say a reminder that these are general readings. This is going to be a timeless reading. So whenever you come across this reading, it's exactly the right time for you. It's what am I manifesting? So with everything coming in, just for some context, we have just come into the new decade. But again, whenever you find this reading is whenever you find this reading. So there's a lot of new resolutions, a lot of new energy, a lot of new beginnings in and around. So it's a good time to check in and see where our energy is at, and what we're manifesting, and get some clarity and some great messages for you, and hopefully some advice to move forward. So we're using the pendulum today. I also want to remind everybody that this is a general reading. I do my very best to implement certain things, with the charms. We're not doing that today, but I try my very best to make this as personal as possible for people. But this is a general reading, so if all of this resonates, wonderful. If it doesn't, the next one probably will. So just keep checking back. And if anybody wants a personal reading with the energy and the messages that you're now used to at Unicorn Light Tarot, all of my details are down below. And just so you know, for my Instagram too, which is also listed down below, I do Manifesting Thursdays, and I also do Witchy Wednesdays, where we all get together and I do a collective reading. So there's other ways to get extra guidance and support. And obviously there's many different ways of working with me. So again, all of that information is down below. So today we have 3 piles as usual. We're also using the pendulum today. So I thought what we would do for what are we manifesting? It'd be great if I could speak. So we have a few things on the pendulum just to sort of break it down a little bit and get sort of to the crux of the matter. So we have money, love, career, spiritual healing, passion, and releasing and letting go. So we're going to use the pendulum to sort of get a category for you and see what kind of energy you guys are putting out there and manifesting. And then for clarity, we have our tarot cards on top, 4 tarot cards, and then oracle cards at the bottom. So we'll get you some more specific messages. All right, so for pile 1, we have our beautiful free songbird here, if you can see it. And we have our feather for pile 2, and then we have our clear quartz on pile 3. So as usual, let's just ground into our energy, and we're opening up this space and with a protective measure with our spirit guides, and we're asking for only high frequency love and light messages that resonate with you in the moment and give you all the information that you need right now. And again, everything high focus, high resonating, that's all we're dealing with. So if you need to go ahead and pause the video and figure out which pile is for you, then go ahead and do that and take as much time as you possibly need. And as always, the timestamps will be listed below, so you can go straight to your pile and not waste any minute, any second whatsoever finding out what you're manifesting. All right, let's go ahead and get this done. So I'm going to put this aside here for a little later. So pile 1, if you chose pile 1, you have your freedom bird here. We're going to put it next to our unicorn and our mermaid energy here. I was trying to think of energy that we can, for extra manifestations and great manifesting, and these 2 icons came to mind. So I put them right there as a little extra help. So let's pull the pendulum for you. And the first thing we're going to do, pile 1, is we're going to get your category for you. So round and round it goes. Okay, so finances for you. This is for pile 1. You're mainly going to be doing finances. I also want to do a secondary one because I really want it to kind of go around and Okay, so finances and love. Let's see. Now there's many different ways that this can come about. Let's see what messages we have for you. So first of all, we have the tarot cards. We have death. That's wonderful. And the number 13 is and the devil, which is reversed. Wonderful. And we have the Prince of Pentacles. So of course we do have money here. Messages of money, and then we have the Seven of Staves. So the first thing that I can see for you, pile one, is that we'll go with the oracle cards in a minute. So the first thing that's coming up, the messages that are coming up, are definitely related to finances, and I would say what you're manifesting is definitely more abundance. But let's be more specific about that. In order to get to where you're at, you really did have to refigurate, I would say, how it is that you felt about money. I feel as though there were some money blocks there for you. You were probably in and around them growing up. I would say there's definitely the message that, you had to work very hard to achieve sort of financial success. And in that, there was this idea that everything had to be a little bit of a struggle or it wouldn't come easily. This is something that's come up with private clients many times. The way in which we're brought up specifically really does influence us, and whatever is projected upon us, and we take it upon ourselves in ways that we don't even really fathom, and it's neither negative nor positive, because whoever's putting the energy around us at that time as we're growing up, they're just teaching what they know already. But we have definitely shifted from 3D to 5D, and we're working on a completely different timeline here. And I feel as though your energy has shifted lately. Now, I feel as though you put in a ridiculous amount of effort over the years trying to find your balance with money, and specifically doing what you love and being compensated for it. So there's a few different things going on here. I would say that there was a little bit of lack of self-confidence in thinking that you had enough knowledge to be able to achieve the clientele that you needed. That was part of it. The other part of it is that you... for some of you, and again, this is a general reading, for some of you who had the confidence and knew that you were worthy of the financial gain from whatever it is that you did, I feel as though there wasn't a stepping up into the responsibility of it. And give me a second here. I'm not trying to be rude or take you down in any way, but the responsibility of stepping into it, it's more like, yes, I am good at this, and if it works out, that's wonderful. So there wasn't a huge amount of energy behind it. It was more like, we'll see what happens, versus, yes, I'm really good at it. I'm actually going to put so much effort into this that I'm going to make it happen. So there wasn't, and it's not that you were lazy. You were not lazy at all. It's just that I think there was an unsurety. You weren't necessarily sure in which direction. I feel as though in the past, you had many different gifts, but you didn't know in which direction to take them. Now, I feel as though there's been something really huge that shifted within you recently, where you've realized that there's a convergence of everything that you know, that you can bring it in and sort of, and still be doing what you want, but bringing in different versions of yourself and sort of maybe multiple streams of income and still making it work. I think for you, pile one, it's been very difficult to choose one thing and then put all of your energy into that. Now, you're definitely people of action, and I would say that maybe you're not necessarily the sort of person that likes to maybe just work on one thing and focus on one thing. Now, there's many different reasons for that. Maybe you're afraid if that one thing falls through, what the hell do you have? Or maybe it's just because there's an energy of you that that you're very passionate, and if you have more than one thing going, then there's this sort of kinetic energy that keeps you going. Either way, I feel as though there has been some shift where you've realized that, again, there's some convergence where you can bring in all of what it is that you do and all of your beautiful traits and bring them together and sort of package them, not necessarily as one, but package them harmoniously to people out there. And I feel as though you've been stepping into your power in a way where you're saying, all right, I'm not going to let things happen to me anymore. I'm going to make things happen. Now, I want to be really clear. there's nothing much about you, Pawan, that's particularly passive. But again, I think there's been a little bit of nervousness about commitment on one thing. Or, I don't think you're the sort of person that commits very often, but when you do, you go full fledged. And I think you're just very open and you're just wondering what's happening. But I think there's been a shift in perception where you realize that, life happens when you step into it, take full responsibility for it and say, this is what I'm doing. Now, if that doesn't work out, the universe takes the energy and the action that you've put into that and sort of like maybe just shifts you a little bit into another new beginning. So none of what you are about to go through, even if it doesn't sort of work out the way that you thought it would, all of that energy is still being shifted into something really profound. And that's something that you've really understood recently. So what you're manifesting is, and you've worked very hard at this, is a brand new beginning of how you see yourself in the world, how you see yourself in finances, putting your worthiness first and finally saying, I'm ready to step into this responsibility and do what I love doing. There's some kind of click where you've walked out of some of the darkness that you've been through and you've said, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not living like this anymore. I'm going to do exactly what I want to do because I'm busting my butt right now and I'm getting mediocre results at best, and I'm not doing what I want to do. I would rather fail pretty much at what I'm really good at and let the universe sort of like lift me up and take me on to the next thing than do what I'm doing. So there's been a shift for you, and what you're manifesting is this brand new set of self-confidence where you're pulling in the energy and you're being rewarded for exactly who you are. And as long as your heart stays open, where you're not doing it for the money, obviously, you're doing it to be of service, but being open and understanding that you're worthy of that compensation, you're worthy of being paid for what you do because you're very good at it, then you've realized for the first time that you cannot fail. There's no understanding of quote unquote failing. And I think that's what you're manifesting. You're manifesting on a brand new level of integrity. And so something has died. And I feel as though there is a significance for some of you for the number 13. Either it's a lucky number or you were born on the 13th. Or the other side of it is it's the 13th month. It's the 13th moon, which I have here on my arm. It's the outside of the way that you thought before. It's a higher thinking. The 13 represents a completely new thinking, completely outside of the box that you put yourself in before. So let's see what we have with your oracle cards here. Emotional freedom, absolutely. We already talked about service. If you keep service in the forefront of what you do, you will be amazingly compensated for what you do. So never, ever doubt. Babies are thinking and attracting before they are speaking. So again, we're talking about the manifesting, attracting. You are really watching your thoughts. Lovers. Now, we did say that love was in there too. So there's a few different things going on here with the oracle cards that's really pushing them forward. I feel as though the freedom that you've got, the death, which is a great death because it's a death of the old moving into the new, with the emotional freedom has and I think that the manifestation was really about self-confidence and being out in the world the way that you want to be out of. But incidentally, I think what you've done is that you've attracted so much self-love that you're out there attracting love now. So I would say for those of you who are looking for a soulmate as such, or for those of you who have just started a new relationship and you're wondering about that too, but you're sensing these new beginnings, or you're just about to step into these new beginnings. Maybe you put one toe in and you're testing the waters, but you've done the work and you know that you're ready for this brand new manifestation way of manifesting with integrity in this world. Then I would say that all of this is a brand new yes. A brand new yes. You are ready for this new beginning. And it's not that you didn't have integrity before. You were very integritous. You were an extremely grounded person. And again, you have a heart of gold, you have a beautiful open heart, but I think there was a lack of self-confidence in there. And there was just this misunderstanding, I feel as though, and again, programmed from when you were younger, about how abundance comes to you, how easy it should be. And I feel as though this understanding of working really, really hard. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, you're a person of action anyway. Even if you're doing something that you truly love, it takes hard work. It takes energy. It takes commitment. It takes solidarity from your heart and mind and putting it out. But putting it out into the world, and you will be busy, absolutely, but it doesn't feel like work. It feels like service, and it comes across to the world, to the universe. The energy that you put out and radiate while you're doing this work is completely different than if you go into an office and you're paid for specific skill sets that you have, absolutely, but your energy is not in it. Really, at the end of the day, you're waiting to go home so you can relax and do what you want to do, and you're just sort of going through this cycle. Now, you've just come out of this understanding that even part-time, I feel as though for some of you who innately do what you do, but you haven't been doing it full time, there is this self-confidence of stepping into doing this full time. This will be your career. Now, you're having these brilliant ideas. I can feel it. These brilliant ideas of how you're going to converge and bring everything together. Okay, I'm going to offer this at this tier. I'm going to offer this at this tier. And this way, if this person needs this, they'll have that, and this person will have that. And you're bringing everything together. And then technically, there'll be multiple streams of income coming in. But again, there'll be some real cohesiveness to what you're doing. Now, what you're radiating now, your thoughts are a lot purer because they're coming from source. They're coming from you. You are part of the divine and source. And now that you're closer by living out your reality of who you actually are in this lifetime and what you were born to do, you are working with your thought processes very differently. I feel as though before there were slightly negative, or I would say the word I'm getting is battling thought processes. Now, you could feel the darkness. You could feel like the negative self-talk come in. And again, that was programmed from a very young age. And some of it you were quite successful in pushing it back. But sometimes, you had the days where, the negative self-talk would come in, and the next day you would release it and you'd feel amazing. But then the next day would come in, it would start with doubt, and then the negative self-talk would come back. But now you're consistently at a higher frequency because you're following your heart. So what you're manifesting is a brand new way to be in the world and a brand new way to reach your dreams. Now, that is not a small thing because everything has shifted. Your heart being open, the way that you communicate has shifted. The way in which you see yourself has shifted. The way in which you're radiating energy and manifesting so much quicker has shifted. So for those of you, and there's a certain amount of freedom. There's a lot of freedom, not a certain amount. You've moved from a certain amount from the death and moved into total freedom here, where you can literally navigate your life on your own terms for the very first time. This is not a small thing, pile one. So it may seem as though, I'm manifesting finances, I'm manifesting love, but this is brand new. The way in which you are manifesting is so brand new that you can manifest this in a millisecond and everything can shift. So I would say get ready for brand new beginnings that you have never had before, and keep looking for that love. Now, the one thing that I'm getting a message for you is because you're radiating this energy, which is truly beautiful, you're actually going to be radiating this love that's going to bring in a lot of suitors. Please take your time and choose wisely. There's nothing wrong with having a little bit of fun before you quote unquote settle down. Please enjoy yourself and enjoy the spotlight. Pile one, you're very good in the spotlight. You're very accomplished in your own way, but you shy away from it. And that's what you've been doing in the past. You've been shying away from the spotlight a little bit, even though your presence really pulls it in. So now that you've really pulled in the essence of who you are and you're going out on your own terms, everywhere you go, you're going to be in the spotlight. Enjoy it. You don't have to worry about your ego. That's what death is. You've worked on that already. You're working on the 13 on the outside of what is considered the norm. You've done your work. You don't have to worry about getting back into the ego state. And if that negative mindset comes in just a little bit again and tries to pull you down, just say, thank you, but I don't need you to work anymore for me. And the one thing that I do, and this could be your mantra, and it gets rid of it immediately, so hopefully it'll work for you. If any of those self-doubts or negative self-thoughts come in, just gently say to your negative thoughts, you know what? No, I deserve this, and the universe will support me. I deserve this. Whatever it is, the higher thing that you're going for, I deserve this. And it immediately dissolves because there's a part of your soul that truly does believe that you deserve it. And once you remind yourself of that, and that the universe is backing you up and seeing that, then there's no failure. There's nothing that you can do that's going to be wrong. That's not to say that everything that you want will work out the way that you want. In fact, most of it will work out in a brand new way that's far better than you could ever have conceived. But what you will be doing is living to your highest heights, and that's what you're going to be doing, and you should already be sensing that. So this is a brand new set of goals, brand new way of living. I'm really excited for you, pile one. So do let me know if this resonated with you. Feel free to give me a thumbs up or a like, and I would love to hear from you in the comments if any of this resonated. I always love hearing from you guys. So yeah, I'm really proud of you, pile one, and until we meet again, bye-bye. Okay, pile two, if you chose the feather, the freedom feather, this is for you. So again, this is a timeless reading. We're going to find out what you are manifesting at this moment. So let's give some context to this reading and go ahead and find out from the pendulum. Round and round it goes, and see what it is that you are manifesting at this time when you find this reading. Passion. That is fantastic. Now, there's different ways that passion can come up in your life, and we're about to find out. So let's work with our tarot cards first. High Priestess. Oh my goodness. There you go. Two. So there's an energy of unity here, and then we have the Four of Pentacles reversed. And then we have oppression reversed, which is wonderful. And then we have new beginnings reversed. So there's a few different things going on here for what you're manifesting for your passion. Okay, so let's move this so we have some room here. So let's see. So what you are actually, pile two, what you are actually manifesting is a sense of unity within yourself, and a sense of magic and a sense of personal power. And this is something that has not come easily for you. I feel as though for some of you, pile two, and again, this is a general reading, so please take what resonates and leave what doesn't. But for some of you, it's been very difficult to be out in the world and showing who you are. Now, there's many different reasons why. You're extremely sensitive, something that you haven't, in the past at least, you haven't really embraced and utilized in your life. You haven't always seen it as a blessing. The other side of it is that there's many cycles that you've had to go through, and you feel as though there's an essence of your heart that at some point lost a little bit of hope. You're always wondering if you're still going to be going through these cycles, if you'll ever be able to be free from them. But what you are doing is a brand new beginning here. Now, I know that it says, you know, we're reading your heart here, and I know that your heart has had some doubts, because when you've had some brand new beginnings, you know, things have shifted and then they've not quite worked out as well as you thought they were. And then you've gone back into, or what the way in which you perceive things, you've gone back into these cycles. And I feel as though you've been working on your sense of oppression and releasing your sense of oppression. But I do feel as though, for the most part, for a good portion of your life, you've attracted people around you that have a sense of oppression, and that's been projected upon you. So I feel as though there's been a lack of freedom in your thought. Now, this is the beautiful thing, pile two. You are manifesting passion. So that's the one thing. It's not that you've never had passion before. You're a very passionate person. But I feel as though some of that fire, some of that passion got dumbed down because of your outskirts, because of what was on the outskirts, because of who was on the outskirts, because of this over and over of the cycles that you've been going through. But you've been coming back to the center, and within the center of your heart and the pit of your belly, you've got this fire and this passion. And I tell you, once you get in, and you're about to do this, once you get into that fire and integrate that fire, excuse me, I'm so excited. I can't even get the words out. I'm so excited for you. Once you get really into that passion and that fire, back into who you are, there is no holding you back. Now, you've always been a passionate person. Depending on what age you are, I would say around 15 or 16, that passion was really there if you're a little bit older. But again, it's come out in certain ways, but it's been dumbed down a little bit because, you know, you've had this tough cycle. You've had a lot of things that you've needed to go through, but your magic and your power and grounding into that passion in a way that brings back your unity. Yes, self-respect, absolutely. Look at this, divine sight. See the divine in everyone. That's the other thing. The other message that I'm getting, for some of you who are like, yes, I keep going through these cycles time and time and time again, and I keep attracting the same type of people. That's the biggest thing for you, pile two. I'm telling you, each and every time you've gone through this, you've learned something new and you've gained a little bit more strength from this. I promise you, even if it's not really noticeable to you yet, when you step outside of it and look within, which you're about to do, it will all come together. There's an aspect of your heart that's still in the eye of the storm, so you can't see things objectively yet. You're still in the subjectivity, but you're coming out of that. So bear with us now. We're going to get you some help here. I can replace false premises with law-based premises. So for this too, let's see on the other side, these are brand new cards. There's been a theme unfolding here of replacing flawed premises with law-based premises. There you go. So again, you are taking what you've learned from every situation and you're applying it to what you know and then grounding into your passion and then taking off full force. Oh my goodness, look at this. The wheel, 10, delays are over, unexpected good luck. Travel, yes. So this is the old, this is the new. So there is a really succinct understanding of your passion. I think before a lot of you were very practical. And again, we've talked about this so many times before in my readings and with personal clients. There's nothing wrong with practicality, nothing whatsoever. I'm a writer. At the end of the day, if I don't have a practical schedule and get down, it's not going to write itself. The book doesn't write itself. But here's where practicality doesn't work. If you're living from the practical mind and you're not living from your heart-based thoughts and your heart-based understanding of who you are, you're not going down the right path. It's really as simple as that. So I feel as though that practicality has held you back a little bit, and that's because you've not been as in tune with your passion before, because it's been dumbed down. But here's the thing. You've grounded into your magic, and you've grounded into the sense of self-respect of who you are. You're walking taller. You know who you are. You have this courage. What you've been through, you've literally, talk about passion. You've gone through the fire. You've gone through fire. You've gone through things most people would have crumbled just looking at. They wouldn't even be able to watch the film featuring a protagonist that have gone through what you've actually gone through. And there's something that's woken up in you where you've realized that you've got this incredible amount of strength, incredible amount of self-respect, incredible amount of passion. Now, you've often used that fire against you because it's been dumbed down. It's come up and it's destroyed aspects of you. It's come up in flaming, sort of like some of you may have had sort of rants sometimes, like real anger, like it's either actually come out at the wrong person or worse, I would say, it's gone within. Some of you even step further, if you've had this anger that you've held within, you may have had bad skin at some point or prone to breakouts because the anger is coming out in your skin. Now, again, this is, the top tier here is old. You've moved from that. You've reclaimed your passion. And what I love about this card, which is really beautiful, and it really coincides with this card, and this is absolutely what you're manifesting. You've manifested your passion back, your magic back, your sense of self-respect back. And what you've done, you've realized now that you're on the precipice of on the outside looking in. So you're no longer in the eye of the storm anymore. That was the first tier. You're now looking sort of back into what you went through, and you realize with everything you went through, with all of those cycles, with everything that you've seen, with people who were around you who were trying to get their quote unquote, pardon my French, shit together but didn't quite do it, or still trying but are still stuck in sort of low frequency. But here, you know how to work with everybody. You can see the divine in everybody. You can see the strength in everybody. You can see the effort in everybody. Is everybody able to sort of break out of the mental prison that they're in? No. And some people don't want to. And some people just aren't able to because they're so mired in what they are. And they're identified with what they are. But here's what you're doing. You've been through that and come out on the other side. And because you've been through so many cycles of it, you can see it so clearly now. So now you do have this divine sight. You can look at somebody and have empathy for them. Use that sensitivity in the world in a brand new way. So all of this sort of sensitivity that you had in the world, which made the world quite uncomfortable for you before, with this fire, with this passion, with this sense of magic and grounding, you are now literally reclaiming aspects of self and living outside of the norms and making that work for yourself. Now, there's an essence of you that's been working outside of the norms, but that was really lonely for you. All that did was really sort of push the understanding that there's no connection in your life. You've gone beyond that now. You're now working outside of the social norms in some ways, or let's just say the patriarchy, just to put a label on it. You're working outside of like the specific sort of patriarchal version of self, but you're connecting with your own passion and life and love, and going out there and now being a beacon of hope for other people, instead of like being disconnected and saying, all right, well, I don't feel a part of this, but now I feel disconnected because there's nothing, So you've realized that you've had to do this for yourself. And what you're manifesting is everything. Literally, you're manifesting everything. The wheel, you're manifesting a brand new beginning. You're manifesting travel. You're manifesting. And the way in which I'm seeing travel for you, pile 2, is traveling to your next destination, literally. Your next life destination, not just physically moving, but emotionally moving, pretty much everything. So let's just see if there's any, that passion. And I'm just going to end with this card of the Empress. The High Priestess. The Empress is one of my favorite cards too, but the High Priestess here. And if there is B or J here, 2 is definitely for unity here. So there's also a sense of unity within yourself. There was a part of yourself that was somewhat disjointed. It had sort of gone off, and you'd given aspects of yourself away, trying to succumb to living in this life and trying to fit in. But now you've pulled those aspects back to self. So if any of you have a B or a J in your initials, or that means something to you, that's also, we have the crossroads in the middle too. You've been standing at the crossroads for a while. Now that you've claimed your energy and your passion, that person that you once were, that passionate person before you got out there and saw how the world worked and it kind of brought you down a little bit, that person's coming back. What you're manifesting is not just a brand new beginning, but you're manifesting the person you always were and are about to be again. It's a beautiful reading here, pile 2. So do let me know if any of this resonated. I would love a thumbs up, and do let me know in the comments. I love hearing from you guys. I always love hearing from you guys. And yeah, I'm really proud of you. You've done a lot of work, and you deserve all of this beautiful passion coming into your life that's already here. It's already in and around you. You can't go wrong. All right, pile 2, until we meet again. Bye-bye. Okay, pile 3, this is you. If you chose the clear quartz, then this is your timeless reading. And again, we are talking about what it is that you are manifesting at this very moment. So let's go ahead and get some context for this reading. Round and round it goes. All right, so release and let go. Now, bear with me. It may seem like, oh, really? But this is huge. If you're manifesting a sense of... a lot of people manifest with a sense of urgency. If you are manifesting with a sense of release and flow with the universe, there's nothing you can't achieve. So let's get some specific messages for you. We're going to start with the tarot cards here. So you have the 3 of Swords reversed. Sense of betrayal has gone. That's wonderful. Then we have the Hermit. Ooh, I love this card. 2 of Pentacles, we have the balance and moving forward. That's wonderful. And then we have Freya and Power reversed. So let's move this forward. So release and let go. So I feel as though there's been a sense of betrayal. I feel as though you've given your energy to people who, let's just be honest, let's just be frank, we're not going to beat around the bush, in some ways didn't deserve it. Now, everybody deserves to have... to be listened to and to be given space too. So I want to be really clear about that. And you are empathic and you are sensitive and you are beautiful. But there's a way in which that can become a little bit unhealthy. And you were on that side of that, I would say, pile 3. So, let's be honest. You definitely had a little bit of maybe not just a martyr thing, but like wanting everybody to be okay. Now, that's a beautiful trait in yourself, but it went too far because you gave aspects of yourself away I didn't know how to get them back. So that's been really difficult for you. And the betrayal of giving aspects of yourself and not getting anything back really stung. Now, this, let's be really clear. This is something that you've just gone through. So what you have been manifesting and what you are manifesting now is a brand new way, as the same way with Pile 1 and Pile 2, but very different energy. A brand new way to be in the world. What you are manifesting from for the first time is a sense of balance. Now, Pile 3, you have an essence of balance, and I feel as though, but the way in which you balanced before, you may have had these types of extremes where you go in one extreme and then the other extreme, and then when you come back in the middle, there's your balance. Now, it's a wonderful way to live in some ways, especially if you're a writer or if you're an artist, because, you know, there's never a dull moment, right? If we're being honest. But it's a very difficult way of being in the world. And what it does is it doesn't connect you to your power because you always feel as though you're not in any kind of control. Now, in essence, we can say that we really don't have very much control, but really we do have control about how we react to things. But if we're going on the seesaw of so many extremes, then we're actually really not in control of how we're reacting to things. And I feel as though Pile 3, sometimes, and you know, and we're going to be kid gloves here and be really nice about it, but sometimes you have overreacted to some situations because there's been so much energy and emotionality in situations because of this going backwards and forwards and going backwards and forwards in the way that you have, and the sense of betrayal. It's really stung and it's really gone deep. So sometimes you have overreacted to things, and that's a lot of emotionality, it's a lot of energy that's going out there, and it takes you further away from your power and sense of balance. Now, what you've been doing, this is the first tier here, so we're going to go in, see what we have. So we have the 9 of Autumn, reward yourself for all your hard work. Yes, here we go. And we have these, that which is like unto itself is drawn, okay? And then we have Wisdom, yes. You go act with wisdom and people will respect you. Absolutely. And then we have Luminosity. Now this is reversed, but this goes up here too. So the one thing that you've realized is that you've not been living your best life, because in those moments of sort of like overreacting, you lose a sense of who you are, and you've given away your power in the past. And what that's done is it's taken its toll in the past, right? So, and the other thing that it's done too, it's also attracted people and situations around you that are quite extreme also, right? And that can be very difficult because you already have an aspect of your personality, and then you're attracting that on too, and all you want to do is get a sense of balance. Now you've done that. You've done that. And I think for some of you, and I know this sounds a little bit, you know, this might sound a little bit like sort of out there, but bear with me. A lot of you have realized that, and this has got nothing to do with vanity, so bear with me with this, but a lot of you have realized that your beauty shines from within when your heart is open and heartfelt and you're in balance. And I feel as though some of you have noticed maybe not, you know, there's an aspect of you that's not showing in your face, maybe when you're photographed or when you're seeing yourself like quickly and you look round, and there's an aspect of your face that is showing the stress, that is showing a life that's been of extremes, and you're actually very young looking. You have an inner child sense of self. You're very beautiful, and you have this energy around you and about you that people are very attracted to. And it's not just the inner, it's the outer too. But I feel as though one of the reasons why you've wanted to shift this and release and let go, and this again, it's got nothing to do with vanity, is that you want to remain young in your thoughts and heart, and you want that to be reflected in every aspect of what you do. And there's no vanity in that. There really isn't. Nobody wants to look stressed in photographs, and nobody wants to record themselves feeling stressed and feeling all of the weight of everything that's gone on before. So what you're manifesting is this unique to you sense of wisdom, this understanding of release. So, you know, a lot of you have a lot of control over your life, and a lot of you have come from circumstances where you had to be ultra independent. Either you were, you know, either you just had to be independent growing up because you didn't it's not that you had a firm sense of self, but nobody was listening, or maybe there were, again, this is a general reading, but you had children young and people weren't around to support. Whatever it is, you had to grow up very, very quickly when you were young, and you did not get a sense of the childlike innocence that everybody deserves, right? So that's why you were prone to the extreme. I would say in many situations, you really didn't have as many positive examples of how to let go and to be okay, and just to see how things, worked out. I think the way in which that you were brought up and the energy that was around you, and for some of you it was pure drama, but it was like, you didn't have the luxury of seeing how things, just to let go and see how things worked out. That would have been ridiculous. You just didn't have that luxury because you had to be in control. You had to figure things out. You didn't have that child youthfulness. And now you're moving back into that. And you're seeing that for yourself. There's so much hard work that you've done. And again, we have the two. The three is gone because the betrayal you're not taking with you. What you did, you had to go into yourself and do some really hard work, pile 3, and really come out on the other side. And what you had to do was release your past, release every aspect of what it is that you did to get through your day. You were in survival mode. You're now in thriving mode. It's completely different, which is wonderful. You also realize that you were the one attracting all that energy around you. And even though you really didn't want it, you did attract it. You've come out with a huge amount of wisdom here. And you've come out with this understanding of brand new balance and how to balance. Now, look at her. She looks great. She looks as though she's looking from one end, but she knows the other end is going to balance out naturally. You don't have to force or attempt to control. You're going back into your childlike existence that you didn't necessarily have before, or not to this extent, and you're just allowing yourself to see what happens, and you're enjoying the process. That's what you're manifesting. You're manifesting a brand new way to be because you're no longer holding on to any of that old stuff, that old muck, that old energy, that old way of doing things. Now, you knew full well that the way in which you were working in the world was not making you feel good. You didn't look good, or you didn't feel as though you looked as good as you could. You weren't as excited about, getting made up and going out as you could. And there's an aspect of you that loved dressing up, that loves being out there, that used to love being looked at, not in a vain way, again, but just sort of like knowing who you are. Yeah, I'm who I am. You can look if you want to. But there was an aspect of that was lost while you were taking on so much of other people's energies. And so much muck that came up from the surface that was being attracted from people around you, but you also carried in from your childhood. So I feel as though all that hard work that you've been doing, and there's so much that you've done to release all of that. And now you're moving into a brand new way of being, again, successful self-employment, doing things on your own term, taking the wisdom that you have. And there's this elevation, there's this beautiful elevation of self-love and just this intense kind of release of, let's just see where it goes. And that's not to say that you're not a person of action and that you're not, getting all your ducks in a row. Yeah, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, and then we'll see where it goes. But you are now willing to listen to the cues of the universe in a way that you would have thought that this was a luxury in the past. You say, I've got to earn my rent. I've got to earn my money. This is a luxury. I can't go off and do this today. You're now working in a completely different way. And that luminosity, we're going to turn this around. We're going to turn Freya around too with the power, because you've brought back your power. You're moving in a brand new way in this lifetime. And this flow with the universe is going to bring in absolutely everything that you want. So the first thing that I'm seeing that you're manifesting with this new release and letting go is a brand new way of appreciating and working with your finances, whether that's going into maybe you're working for yourself part-time, but you're going into full-time. I also see for some of you, there's some freedom in collaboration with other artists or creative beings or whatever it is that you're doing, bringing in more people, maybe marketing with other people. That's that sort of thing. That's the other thing. You're attracting new people, new soul family that's coming in that are also in flow with the universe. So what you're manifesting is this understanding that you're now in flow with the universe. Whereas before, there was an aspect of flow, but you were blocking a lot of the abundance because you were holding on to too much from the past. And there wasn't enough clear space for your exact wisdom to come out and just sort of breathe. And now you're working from this wisdom, and you're really working from this understanding that, what is, which that's unto you itself is drawn. So you now realize, you've always realized that your energy is attracting a certain level of energy. You've always understood that intrinsically. But you've never really lived with the understanding that if you let go and release, that what you're attracting is infinite. You've never had that before. And that's exactly what you're manifesting. What you're manifesting is the infinite. So anything could happen. But it's going to be with your luminosity and your power intact, with your wisdom to be able, and sometimes there's a little bit of what I call an echo that comes back. Some of the old tries to come back, sneak in every now and again, but you'll be able to say no and be firm. But with the wisdom and the beauty and the integrity, you don't have to be mean to anyone. You'll be able to really assert yourself in ways and have those boundaries. And pile 3, let's be honest, you've not always had those boundaries before. You just haven't. But now you do. And that's another reason why you're in this position of immense balance in a brand new way, because you put up those boundaries. You've had to do them, and they felt uncomfortable at the beginning, but you learn how to work with them. And now that they're up, the funny thing is, the ironic thing is, now that they're up and they're firm, you probably won't even have to enforce them anymore, because whereas before, there was a little bit of movement and putting up your boundaries, feeling really uncomfortable about putting up your boundaries. Now that you're firm as anything about them, you probably won't have to protect them anymore, because you've already set that boundary, and the right people will be in and around you. Everything else that's not for you will just fall away. A lot of the work that you've tried to control and push through yourself will now be done for you from the universe, which is the way that it should be done, easily. Remember, you're out of the thriving. I'm sorry. Yeah, exactly the opposite. You're out of the surviving. You're now in the thriving. So that's, infinite possibilities here. But again, the one thing that I'm seeing definitely is new people, new energy, new soul family coming in, collaborations, definitely in and around work specifically, anything to do with sort of self-employment or what it is that you do, maybe on the side, bringing it to the forefront. Or if you're working somewhere and doing something, bringing in an aspect of what you physically do that makes you unique and integrating that into whatever you do to really bump up what you're giving as a service to the universe and the world. So well done, pile 3. A lot of work that you've done. I'm really, really proud of you, and you deserve all of this absolutely beautiful, infinite, beautiful wisdom coming in, brand new way of being and releasing. And it's going to be so much easier than the way that you were living before. I promise you. There's just no way you can go wrong. So if this resonated with you, I would love to hear from you. Do feel free to give me a thumbs up. Also, please let me know in the comments if this resonated. I always love hearing from you guys. I really go through and I read all the comments. So yeah, until we meet again, pile 3, well done. Bye-bye.